Motorhead Garage, the program that each week introduces you to and shows you how to install the latest in exciting and innovative products for your vehicle. Now here's your host, Dave Dobson.
Hey there, welcome to another edition of Motorhead Garage presented by DragonFireTools.com. Whether you're driving on the street or the racetrack, performance starts with the suspension. And at Black Ops Auto Works here, Chad, you guys concentrate on the suspension. You know this is where people need to make the necessary adjustments. Why is suspension so important to the ride?
I think it's an area of the vehicle that's left for last when I think it should be done first. There's a lot left to be desired on a vehicle, 5,800 pounds. We do Jeep Durango mostly, and there's a lot of understeer, oversteer, body roll. There's a lot of adjustments that need to be made that the OEM suspension just doesn't allow you to make. This will allow you to make it. Not only are the arms thicker, heavier, there's energy suspension bushings in them. They're anodized, laser engraved, nickel-plated tabs, all super important to longevity of your suspension. Everything is rebuildable. All of the bushings are energy suspension. All of the sleeves are steel sleeves. The anodized is meant not to rust and make your stuff corrode and look crappy over a period of time. So, everything has a factor here, a form factor, function factor, and we try to get all of that into play with the suspension components. That way everybody can dial in their stuff, set it and forget it with a 1-year warranty. We use energy suspension bushings because in my opinion, I think they're the best in the industry. They have a little bit of give, but not too much give. They're not Durlin, which give no give. And we want to really transfer that power and weight ratios to the arms and not get sucked up in your bushings. I think that's a form factor that most people overlook. They either put a too soft of a bushing or too hard of a bushing, and energy is kind of like right there down the middle. They will give a little bit of give, but they will put all of that force and momentum into the strength of the arm, really, and that's where you're going to get your performance. The arm's not going to flex, so you're going to put all that momentum in a turn into the arm, and that's really where you want your momentum going, into the arms.
How do time and gravity affect a vehicle? Someone may say, well, I don't need this right out of the box, but things change as time goes on with your vehicle.
Yeah, for sure. So you have mileage on your tires, mileage on your shocks, mileage on the vehicle itself and other components. Most of these components, when you get them, your truck's all sitting good. Even from the factory on a vehicle, most Mopars, their camber's out one side to the other. You'll have a 1.8 and a 2.1 negative on the other side. They don't even match from the factory, primarily because your battery's on one side, you have fuel on one side, and it's leaning. And the factories, I don't think, have the ability to adjust it. So that's something that doesn't happen on a stock vehicle. There's no ability to adjust it. We're going better performance by changing all of that. We're getting your camber straight. You can now match your left side with your right side. If you want negative two degrees, you can dial it in with the arms. You could say, I want 2 degrees in the front, I want 2.1 out back, or 1.8 out back. Track guys like more camber out front than the rear, we're now able to do that. We can control what we want to do.
How easy are these arms to adjust?
Super easy. It's a tab system. Change them out, swap them back, go to the track, change them, you're done.
So just like in Formula One, you're not worried about counting threads.
Nothing.
Just put those tabs in and out.
Super easy to adjust.
That's perfect. Now, let's talk about the construction here of the arms themselves. You addressed the bushings. What about your suspension pieces? How are they built and with what?
They're all made in the USA, all solid aluminum versus foreign aluminum that's very porous. They're FEA tested, so they're failed in computer software before they ever hit the street. We test them for a year on a vehicle before we even release them. Everything here was tested for a year on a vehicle, heavily beat before we even released it. We want to find the issues and not leave it to the customer.
Tested in the laboratory, tested in the world's largest laboratory in the world. They're out driving with
we know what force it takes to break an arm, and it'll never happen on the street.
Fantastic. And it's not just suspension. These guys also have some great looking carbon fiber pieces for the daily driver. And if you want to kick it up a notch to a higher end as well.
Yeah, we have the regular carbon, and then we have a black label carbon, mostly for exotics. McLarens, Porsches, Ferraris, Lamborghinis. Totally different carbon than the Jeep stuff and Durango stuff and Mopar stuff. But yeah, we offer both.
Whether you're talking carbon fiber, a whole list of performance products, especially suspension, BlackOpsAutoWorks.com is the place to go. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by DragonFireTools.com in just a few.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com, is brought to you by Campbell's Custom Care, your detail specialist, and by RockAuto.com, all the parts your car will ever need.
Hey there, Motorheads. You're locked into Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com. I know you love off-roading, just like all of us do here at Motorhead Garage. And when folks buy a side-by-side like this, of course, they roll it off the line chain. As soon as they get it home, they take it out for a spin, they realize it needs a couple of things. So what are the first mods they want to make to a UTV like this?
Probably the number one thing is a front window. As soon as they go down the road at 50 miles an hour down a dirt trail or whatever else, and they realize the bugs and the dust and everything coming in, they decide that that's a necessary thing.
And Dirt Warrior Accessories, that's how you guys started. How did you develop your first windshields?
We didn't like anything that was on the market, so we kind of started making up some different ideas and come up with a couple of things. One unique thing we have is the vent system on these windows. So you can open it up to get airflow during the summer when it's hot, and then close it up. Yes. Yeah. With the vents, when it opens up, it actually forces the air in, just to the natural dynamics of the car.
And the next step after the front windshield, folks are probably adding the back window.
The back window, it makes a big difference on the dust boiling down the road. The faster you go, the faster it comes in, and all of a sudden you notice the people in the back with the dirt all over their shoulders and everything
coming down
else.
their shirt and everything else.
Yeah.
Perfect. So you guys developed those as well. And then when it came to the sides, the only option that was available for a long, long time, it was just like a golf cart. Kind of had the eyes in glass, and sort of just a plastic side. And what was wrong with that when you're driving a side-by-side?
The downfalls to those are, as soon as any dust or mud or anything gets on them and you wipe them off, they scratch really easy. And then all you're looking at is just a scratched window. They didn't seal off that great. They kind of flopped around, made a lot of noise that way. That's why we come into making these things out of full glass. And this is all full 1/4-inch safety glass. All the aluminum, we use 1/8 inch aluminum for the sides. Everything's powder coated. Everything is built right there in St. George, Utah.
What's the installation process like? I know we put this in, it didn't take very long. So walk folks through what it takes to put one of your enclosures in.
Okay, so if you'll notice some of the screw holes here, this is actually how it's put on. Everything that we have installed uses factory holes that are already existing.
So I'm not drilling into my brand new side-by-side and making holes where they don't belong, which is a good thing.
Right, because all of us hate doing that.
Yep.
We tried to make this thing look as close to factory as we could. All the factory holes that we use are existing. We come up with some different brackets that kind of hold the system in place. Easy to get in and out of. Turn the handles and pull it open. Reach inside, open up the door, goes back in, shuts back, and this locks the handle back in, so it's nice and tight. It's secure, but it's able for the car and cage to move around, because with these cars on the off-road and all the suspension, the way it works and everything, they're moving around. We don't want to put any stress on the glass that we didn't have to.
That's for sure. And what about rattles and stuff like that? I know that's a big concern with folks.
It is. So we tried to make sure that every part that touches anything is sealed off with rubber, so that we can cut down on as many squeaks as possible. And the way that everything's locked in, we try to lock it as tight. I mean, like if you feel these are really solid on there, even in the front doors, which work kind of the same way. Turn the handle on the top, move the door here. Actually has a whole fill-in piece to take the window off if you want to. You can just lift it up, take it off, or slip it right back on, and you're ready to go back out again.
Very cool. And the installation process, typically, how long does it take for an entire vehicle if you want to enclose it?
Probably about an hour to do the whole thing, give or take.
Faster if you have a buddy as well.
Absolutely.
How many different makes and models do you cover with your enclosures?
Currently, right now, we have 12 different machines that we cover with the full enclosures. Now, as far as front and back windows, we cover pretty much every machine out there. We have a front and back for them. We are slowly working on all the enclosures.
What about colors? What are my choices?
We can do these in about any powder coating color, even the things with the normal color we do is black. It's a textured black, it seems to hold up better in the trees and stuff, but we offer in about any color.
Dirt Warrior Accessories, not just about these enclosures, which are amazing. They've got just about every accessory you need for your side-by-side, and coming soon, heating and air. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by DragonFireTools.com. Don't touch that dial.
Motorhead Garage, brought to you by Dragon Fire Tools. Quality, affordable workbenches and tool cabinets.
Thanks for staying with us here at Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com. You got a hot rod like this? Well, the vehicle's old, but the paint is brand new, which means the technology in that paint is brand new and it's ever evolving. Now, Aaron, you're with Phoenix EOD, and the EOD stands for Evolve or Die. So you know this guy's on the cutting edge of paint technology. What are you doing at Phoenix to keep up with everything that's new in the paint world?
Well, I think the biggest aspect of running a business like this is to get feedback, constant feedback with some of the best detailers out there. And because of that, we get that constant feedback. And as the makes and models and years and the technology that they're putting, thinner paint, thicker paint, you really have to have your finger on the pulse of all that. And so when we came up with Titan, we wanted something to be extremely versatile that you could use on all surfaces, on all paints, canvas tops, whatever, that gives you a lot of protection and a lot of gloss that's really, really affordable and really easy to use.
What makes Titan work?
It's an SiO2, which is a silicon dioxide quick detailer, and it's those polymers that as they link together and cure, it just basically creates a barrier between your paint and the elements.
It's kind of a multi-purpose thing, sort of a go-to. So what are the other things it can do?
Oh, so you can use it as a drying aid. So after you wash the car and the car is still wet, you can spray liberally on it, and as you're drying the car off, you'll just start to create that gloss and that shine that people really snap their heads looking at. Of course, you can use it as like a replacement of the old paste wax. You spray it onto a microfiber towel, wipe it on, use another microfiber towel, buff it off.
Well, let's see.
Super dry.
Let's see how easy it is
Oh,
to
sure.
really apply there.
Okay.
And a lot of folks, there are a lot of products out there where you have to do a lot of prep work
Yeah.
to the vehicle. What do you have to do with?
You don't have to really do anything other than wash the car. Just a nice clean surface will do it just fine.
That is my level of labor that I want to do right there.
We wanted it to be as versatile as possible for as many people as possible. We call them the weekend warriors, the DIYer guys, the do-it-yourselves. That's what it's all about, and look at that shine.
The shine is amazing, and it is super, super slick. You can take my word for that. And what about hydrophobic properties?
So it's got incredible hydrophobic properties. You'll see these nice tight beads, how they line up. That's exactly what you're wanting to see.
Absolutely. I've seen some sheeting stuff there. No, I don't want to say any of that.
You have hydrophobic, which is the tightening up of the beads, and then you have hydrophilic, which is the sheeting properties. And so the more water that is applied, the more it'll sheet quicker. And standing water is what leads to water spotting and water pitting and things of that nature that you don't want on your paint. And so we've designed it to be very, very easy to put on, and it also gets the water off really quick.
Let's look over here at the side that has no Titan on it whatsoever. And that's just a mess.
Try drying it.
All right. And speaking of a mess, that's a disaster. What is it like over there?
Check this out.
So cool. I've let on that I'm one of those weekend warriors. I don't have a lot of time. 2 little kids, no time to work on my car to do anything as far as cleaning it. How long is Titan going to last once I put it on?
Oh, you're going to get a good 3 months out of it. It's got a good 3 months of protection. Because of the SiO2 in there, you're going to have a little bit of the UV protection as well to help protect the paint. And then, of course, going back, there's a lot of guys out there that'll wash the car like every 3 weeks and so on and so forth. It's so much easier to clean.
So you get some bird stuff on there. You get
Absolutely.
pollen and that sort of thing is going to come off easier once you have Titan on.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. And as far as maintenance, then, what do I need to do once I've put Titan on?
Good. That's it. That is the maintenance spray. So you go out and you wash your car, you hit it again real quick. Yeah.
Looks great on paint. What other surfaces can I hit with Titan?
You can put it on pretty much any surface, dashboards, the center consoles and stuff like that. I know guys that use it on their tires as a tire shine. It's just a really versatile, and I'd like to say unique, because evolve or die, we're always trying to make it better than the other products that are out there.
It looks great on the paint. What about glass?
It works great on glass. It's almost impossible to get streaking out of this stuff, and high spots, there's no optical distortions. Makes for a great glass cleaner. Also, as far as like on the windshield, getting the rain off of there, the water will just sheet off the windshield as well. So it's fantastic. I rarely use my windshield wipers anymore just because of that.
And now there's a lot of different finishes. You'll see them on motorcycles, especially what they call denim or a matte finish.
Yes, sir.
And leather, of course, all those things on a motorcycle. How does Titan perform there?
It's really such an interesting product because it just kind of makes it richer. It enhances those features. So if you have a matted finish, it's going to just look deeper and richer instead of like real shiny glossy, because that's obviously what you want in a matted finish, is a deeper, richer, but not shiny. So it works very well on leathers, on motorcycles, and all of that stuff. It's an extremely versatile product.
At the top of the segment, we were talking about how you always keep up with the latest technology. What kind of feedback do you get?
So I have a lot of really good detailers that I've created relationships with. There's a guy in South Carolina that his background is engineering. And so when we're testing products and doing product development, we get them into the hands of the detailers, and then we get immediate feedback. And you can't be afraid of criticism, because it's the only way you're going to evolve.
This guy knows you have to adapt or you're not going to make it. It's even in their name, Phoenix EOD, evolve or die, phoenixeod.com. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by DragonFireTools.com when we return.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com, is brought to you by AMSOIL, the first in synthetics. Ion Classic, the best way to document your restorations. And by Clamp Tight, the clamp making tool.
Tons of vehicles today are being turbocharged as manufacturers strike that fine line between power and fuel economy. Welcome to this AMSOIL Tech Tip. It's all about the turbocharger, and we have one cutaway so you can take a look of everything inside and what's going on. It all starts right here. This is actually the turbine. Now the turbine here is driven by exhaust gases. Remember, red hot exhaust gases. This thing could be spinning at 150,000 RPM. Then it transfers the energy all the way through here, which is a shaft here, we'll talk about in a minute, over to this side. This is actually the compressor. Now the compressor side is what builds up your pressure and gets you that good turbo boost on this side. But with this comes some problems. This shaft I was talking about, I want to take a look at it a little closer here. You can see the shaft right here. Now this shaft is oil driven or oil fed, number one, to cool it, and number two, I said we're going at 150,000 RPM, and hot exhaust gases is blasting on this turbine being transferred through that shaft. So with that, well, comes a bunch of inherent problems that come with turbochargers, like oil coking and getting hot. Len, turbochargers opened up a whole new world of oil, man, because we need to keep these things cool. We need to keep them lubricated.
That's correct. The temperatures and the speeds at which these things operate demand that. And if you don't, you end up looking like that left-hand graphic that you just showed, and that's called coking, as we described. A lesser oil will do that much easier. Higher quality synthetics with the proper additives can work in that turbo without creating any problems. It will keep everything beautifully clean. But again, I say it's a higher quality synthetic base that you want to use in there, and then you have to use the proper additives, because what ends up happening inside that turbo is called oxidation. The oil cokes, but it also oxidizes, and that means that it's breaking down because of the heat. Once you have that all squared away, and we do a lot of testing, we do a bunch of different things to make sure that it's going to hold up. So all of our signature series oils are set up to handle any turbocharger's needs.
That's perfect, because not only are we getting hot, coking, not only are we sludging up, we're causing problems. You know, you want to keep your turbocharger running in tip-top shape, make sure you use AMSOIL. And check them out on the website at www.amsoil.com.
Chances are, if you're watching this show, you've probably hauled something, maybe a very nice classic car, something that means a lot to you, something that costs a lot, and you don't want that going anywhere. You can't settle for any ratchet strap that you just find at the big box store. You're going to want something from Max Custom Tie Downs, because the quality is unbelievable. I had a chance to check these out, and it all starts with the ratchet here, Trent.
It does.
Yeah, tell me about some of the features here that make these special.
Well, our ratchets are unique to the industry. We have a one-piece handle, which makes ours 40% stronger. And then when you go into the neutral position with it, after you unhook your car, the mandrel goes into a freewheel mode. So
Fantastic.
you don't get it all stuck and you're trying to yank it and kick it and getting frustrated.
Which I do every single time with the regular ratchet strap.
Exactly. One of the other features that we have is that we have our patented dust cap on this. It keeps out the sand and the dirt and keeps the longevity of them in play.
And one thing I noticed is the edges are not sharp like a lot of other cheap ratchet straps I see out there.
Absolutely. You know, as soon as you pick up one of the ratchets, you know you've got a hold of something else that you've never felt before.
Very cool. Now, you sell your tie downs in kits, so you're selling packages here.
We do. Here at Max, we offer 2 variations of our straps, and then everything else is built off of that. So the first one that I have here is what we call our Super Pack. And as you notice, it has the axle strap that's integrated into it. Less moving parts. That way, when you loan them to your friends, everything will come back.
Everything comes back.
Exactly. But we don't want that. So it's an adjustable hoop, so you can make it as big as you want, or you can make it as little as you want. That's customer's choice. The second one that we have is called our Ultra, and basically it's an 8-foot, 10,000-pound strap, same as this one. It just has 2 hooks on it, and then what we do is we do a detachable axle strap with that. And then all of our strap kits come with the tie backs and everything comes in the canvas carry bag.
Fantastic. I noticed a few accessories here. You've got the fleece, and I assume this is for something, maybe something chromed or something like that?
It is. If you have a hot rod that's got a powder coated or a painted rear end or control arms in it, or if you have something that's chromed or nickel plated, we offer a Velcro fleece that can go around this. And then that way you can take it off, you can launder it, it'll protect whatever you have. And we also offer an axle strap. Our standard is 24 inch, and we do a standard 36, 40, and 44 as well.
All right, Trent, let's head on back here to the trailer now. Before you write in, I want to mention that these tracks should be bolted down to the trailer. We've actually just put them on a backing plate because this isn't our trailer, but you get the idea. Anyway, this is called your tire block system, Trent, and it is like nothing I've ever seen. How does it work?
All right, yeah, this is the third setup that we wanted to talk to you about today, and this is our tire block setup. This is great for a guy that has multiple vehicles with different size tires and wheels on them. He doesn't want to climb under the vehicle, or it's a vehicle that's super low and you can't get underneath it. So it has a pickup point here. It has tire blocks. It has a bolted nipple on it that fits down in the tire tread. And then it has an idler that goes back to the ratchet. What's nice about this is if you have a really low car with a spoiler or a splitter, this gets everything out from in front of it, so you don't have to try to figure out how to tie your car down.
Full-time racers, weekend warriors, you're going to love these. These are from Max Custom Tie Downs. You can find them at maxcustomtiedowns.com. Well, we are strapped for time, but don't worry, we're going to do it once again next week. We hope you join us then. In the meantime, if you have a product you want to see here on the show, email me, Dave@motorheadgarage.tv. We'll get you here in the studio or in the parking lot, as seen here. From our entire crew here at Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com, we'll see you next time. Drive safely.